It's 2:30 a.m. Let's go pour some concrete. As you can see behind me, we have it pretty well lit up. I got some guys checking levels, make sure the forms are level. Concrete trucks are on the way. The pump is set up, ready to go. All my guys are here. We had a pre-pour meeting, which is something I like to have every time we pour concrete. And that's when I go with the lead finisher and I discuss everything that we're doing and how I expect them to do it. I mean, that goes down to even as far as where we're gonna start. You know, for example, here we have the living quarters, which is where I'm standing. And then over there we have a shop. Then we have porches on 3 sides. Well, porch in the front, porch in the back, and then we have breezeway down the middle. Those get poured last. In the back, the forms are 4 feet tall. So that's another thing that we need to keep in mind, right? Because we cannot pour it all at once because the weight of the concrete would push the forms out and just blow them out. So again, you can't just come in here and start pouring concrete. Another thing to take into consideration is the flow of concrete trucks, right? So because we're pouring 3,000 straight sack and it's going to be a hot day today, it's going to dry quick. So if we don't have a good enough flow of trucks or supply of concrete, you cannot get ahead of yourself or you're going to have cold joints. So that's kind of what we discussed in the pre-pour meeting. Again, we go over all the details. They know what to expect, I know what to expect, and we come up with a plan, you know, plan A, and then we also come up with plan B and C in case those things don't go as planned. Because, I mean, we're pouring concrete, right? It's it's almost for certain it's not going to go as planned. However, we're hoping that it will. I mean, this slab has been sitting here for close to 3 weeks ready to pour. We've been having a lot of rain here in Texas, and today we're finally going to have a nice day. We're going to be able to get it poured, and I think it's going to be a good day. So here we have the laser level. This laser level is set to a benchmark that we established the day we set the forms. You can see over there, he's double checking, making sure all the headers are level based on the benchmark. So it is 4:09 a.m. right now. Concrete trucks are supposed to be here at 4 a.m. So I'm about to call them because they're 9 minutes late. And you know, the reason for starting this early is because we're trying to take advantage of the cool weather. Today is supposed to get up in the 80s, and we are pouring 3,000 straight sack, which means it's going to dry pretty quick. So we cannot afford to lose any time right now. The trucks are starting to show up, so while I go get them lined up, do me a favor and go ahead and subscribe to our channel. It takes 2 seconds. Just click that button down there. See you shortly. Right here you can see how the PEX line comes together. We run all of our plumbing in the slab. I prefer it that way because it makes less noise, and to me it's just a better way to go about it. If one line was to get damaged, then we can always run it overhead. Also, we have all of our floor plugs. Here we have an island, so we have a drain for a sink, and then we have a conduit electrical. And out here we have some floor plugs in the living room. There's one, there's another one right there. I'm gonna have the guy straighten that one out. Here come the concrete trucks. Here's the first one. We expect this to be about a 180-yard pour. So we'll see how it goes. Here comes the other one on the road, right there. So the way we set up the pump here, we're going to be able to put 2 concrete trucks right up to the hopper here. So that'll save us some more time. about 2 miles from the highway. The problem that we're having here is there is a 10,000 pound weight limit bridge right here on this county road. So instead of coming 2 miles off the highway, they have to go all the way around about 4 miles to get to here. So that's another challenge that we're gonna have to deal with today. But again, it's part of it, right? We knew about the bridge, so we already accounted for that. But again, that's just one more thing that's gonna make this pour more difficult than it needs to be. So because these forms back here are 4 feet off the ground, we need to layer that concrete. We cannot pour it all at once. It'll blow these forms out, especially because we've had a lot of rain lately and the ground is still somewhat wet. So these stakes do not have the same holding force that they would have if the ground was dry. So again, that's just one more thing that you need to be aware of when you're pouring concrete. You need to take everything into consideration, or you will run into problems. So as you can see right here, that guy over there, he's pouring the concrete. These guys right here with a screed board, they're screeding the concrete. This guy right here with a jitterbug is pushing all the rocks down. And then here we have the bull float sealing the surface. Here we have the pump operator. He's the one operating the pump. The guy on the hose over there, he's telling him where to go with hand signals. But the operator's been around it long enough that he knows more or less where the pump needs to go. So after the bull float, we let it set up for about 30 minutes to an hour, depending on how fast the concrete's setting up. And then we use the bump cutter, which is what you're looking at right now. That is going to make sure that it is a flat slab. The bump cutter will cut the high spots and it'll fill in the low spots. And then after the bump cutter, we run the trowel machine with a floating pan. Remember, we're taking a liquid and we're turning it into a solid. So we have to keep, every step of the way, we have to make sure that it's flat. So the float pan on this trowel machine, it does the same thing as the bump cutter. It cuts the highs and fills in the lows. So the concrete trucks are taking a while to get here. So in order for the pump to keep the concrete circulating, he dumps the concrete into its own hopper and just circulates it, and you know, just keeps it from clogging up the pump. In order to ensure that the slab is as flat as possible, every pass with the trowel machine needs to be perpendicular to the previous pass. You can see here, the previous pass he went left and right, now he's going up and down. So after pan floating the slab, we put a different trowel machine on there. This one has combination blades. This one's gonna start slicking off the concrete. We're gonna give it one pass and we're gonna leave it alone. And we're just gonna keep doing that until the concrete slicks off. And that's all there is to it. In the meantime, the machine cannot get all the way to the edge, so we have to do all the edges by hand. As you can see, this slab is starting to slick off pretty good. Over on the house, they are running the other trowel machine with a floating pan. Once they pan the entire slab and this one is done, then we're gonna take this machine and put on the house slab. And then we're gonna take the one with a floating pan and transfer it to the porches, and on we go. We have 2 additional trowel machines in my finishing trailer over there that we're gonna use. And the over on the house, we're going to finish with poly blades because we're gonna stain that concrete. So we get a much better finish for concrete staining when we use the poly blades. So as you can see on the background, we're almost done. The shop is done, the house is done, and now they're working on the porches and the breezeway. So it's 1:50 p.m. right now. As you guys know, I left my house at 2:30 a.m. You know, it's just afternoon. It's already been a very long day for me. But anyway, things are going well. The pump is still here. He's cleaning out. We had really slow service on concrete. But you know what? It worked out. So the shop is done. The house part, I finished it with the poly blades because we're gonna stain all that slab, and I don't know if you can tell that. My goodness, that thing looks good. All the porches are gonna get broom finish, and yeah, it's almost done. So right now I'm gonna go get these guys something to eat because I know they're hungry, because I know I am. And then by the time I get back, they should almost be done with this whole thing. So anyway, I'll give you a quick update when I get back. All right, so we got it done finally. It's 4:24 p.m. So that means this pour took 12 hours. So we had some challenges with the concrete coming slow, but it's part of it, right? You know, like I said this morning, some things you have to plan for, and that's why I like to get a lot of guys. That's why I have a lot of trowel machines in my trailer, because obviously the plan is to pour it quick, pour it while it's cool, but a lot of times it doesn't work out. And that's where having the tools and the manpower come in. You know, concrete finishing, it's hard work. You know, I've done it for 15 years, and you know, I don't do it as much anymore, but every now and then I gotta jump in and help these guys, you know, run a trowel machine or something. But man, this stuff is hard work. But you know, whenever you're done, you end up with a nice slab like the one we have here. It's all worth it. I'm gonna go get some sleep now. We are Texas Barndominiums.